Hey guys, well, today I got a good story for you today. It's nothing compared to a Beth Avenue story. It's actually better than a Beth Avenue story. What I'm going to do today, I'm going to talk about a special actor that is no longer here with us today. Now, when I was growing up as a kid, we used to watch movies. I would go to my friend's house to watch a movie. My friends would come to my house to watch a movie. I used to love the old movies, the new movies, but we used to love movies. We used to love the dialogue, the acting. And one of my favorite movies of all time is Once Upon a Time in America. Now, Once Upon a Time in America is about these young kids growing up in a tough neighborhood in New York City, and eventually they're making a name for themselves, and along the way they're making their bones. As they make their bones, they lose a friend when he's young, and there's betrayal in the movie, and some of their other friends get murdered. Now, Noodles is one of the main characters. That's Robert De Niro. It's a great storyline. The movie took like 10 years to make. Sergio Leone was the director of the film. He made all the old westerns back in the day. It was actually Sergio Leone's last film he ever made, was Once Upon a Time in America. Now, I watched this film and I just love it because there's just so many pieces to this film that I could remember the dialogue. In one of the pieces, Robert De Niro tells James Woods, after they kill a guy, Joe, they go, "Today, Joe tells me and you to kill so-and-so. Tomorrow, they tell me to kill you. Is that okay with you? Because that's not okay with me." This is what Robert De Niro tells James Woods. And in this part, they're near the water, and James Woods goes, "You want to go for a swim?" And Robert De Niro, Noodles, goes, "Yeah, let's go for a swim." And he puts it into gear, and they drive right into the water. Now, it's one of my favorite scenes because I could put myself in that car with my friends, and I know it was a fun time. You just finished doing a score. You're up and coming. And, you know, there's good times when you're in that life and you're up and coming because you're not thinking so far ahead. You're thinking about now, right now. But it's one of my favorite movies. Noodles plays a crazy guy. He stabs a cop a dozen times. He does a little time. When he comes home, he's all set up. They're ready for him. They hit him with a stack of money. And but it's a great film. It's about friendship. It's about betrayal. And it's just a great storyline. It's one of my favorite films. Now, where I'm getting at is that Robert De Niro plays Noodles. James Woods plays a part. William Forsythe plays Cockeye. And you got this guy, James Hayden, who plays Patsy Goldberg. Now, this is the point I'm getting to, is that James Hayden is a Brooklynite. He's originally from Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, down there, my neighborhood, my way. And he passes away 1983. He was born 1953, and he died at the age of 29 years old. Now, coming up as an actor, he got to be in this film, Once Upon a Time in America. Now, we all know Once Upon a Time in America is a great film, and it's a masterpiece. It took so many years to make, and this guy, James Hayden, played a great part, and he was really a good-looking guy. He was handsome. So, if he was alive today, he would be in the same category as Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, William Forsythe, all these big-time names. He would be in their category 100%, hands down. He did such a great job playing Patsy, and he's a guy I totally admire. Now, he was very dear friends with Al Pacino. They were like very tight and good friends. He was also friendly with Mickey Rourke, Chuck Zito. Chuck Zito is also a good actor. I'm sure you know about him. He's a tough guy. And he also did some Broadway plays, James Hayden. And he did a play with Al Pacino. Al Pacino and him did a play called American Buffalo. Now, in American Buffalo, if you look it up, what they do is they both are playing two drug addicts on Broadway. And if you read about it, they did a great job. Now, in the course of this play, James Hayden is also a heroin addict. He's doing heroin. And at this time in 1983, he passes away. But before he passes away, Al Pacino signs a contract to do Scarface. Now, he wanted James Hayden to play his part as his best friend, Manny. He never got to do that. And he might have not been able to before he passed away. There was a contract already. But he wanted James Hayden to play that part. This is what I read, because I read up on these old-time actors. I'm really into this stuff. Now, at his funeral, James Hayden's funeral, there was two pillbearers that carried his casket, along with a couple other people. And two of them were, one was Mickey Rourke, and the other one was Chuck Zito. And there's a story where in New York City, James Hayden, he says he got robbed somewhere, and he's in a bar, and Chuck Zito's there, and he tells Chuck Zito that someone just robbed him. And Chuck Zito says, "What? Someone robbed you? Where? Where are they?" And they go to wherever he got robbed, and Chuck Zito tells him, Who robbed you? Show me which one." And Chuck Zito goes to work on them, because Chuck Zito is a tough guy. We know that already, you know, and he's a good actor, and, you know, he's one of the actors I admire too. And, you know, from Oz, and, you know, he does a lot of work. But also, in the course of his career, he was friendly with all these guys. He was in their company. Chuck Zito, Mickey Rourke. He was best friends with Al Pacino. And when he passes away, it's a tragedy. As we know, if you lose a good friend. He passed away at the age of 29 years old of an overdose. But when Mickey Rourke did The Pope of Greenwich Village, he dedicated his performance to James Hayden. So it tells you a lot about Mickey Rourke. But James Hayden was this actor, something like a James Dean story, where if he was alive today, he would be in the same category as Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and all these other actors. So this is a story I wanted to share with you today. I want to give my props to James Hayden, in memory of James Hayden. I want him to be acknowledged and be remembered for his great performance in Once Upon a Time in America. And just looking at the way he acted, how I wish I could only act like that. He did a great performance, and he deserves props. So that's what this video is about, giving James Hayden props today. And so with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna probably do future videos like this on other actors that are no longer with us or passed away. But he's one of them I want to acknowledge because a lot of people don't know about him. He's originally from Brooklyn, so he's a Brooklynite like me. And he was a great actor. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this. And remember James Hayden, Google his name. And until my next video, I'll see you soon. With that said, have a good night. Bye.